Hey, this is Terry, and you're listening to episode 298. It's Christmas. Here we go!
Welcome to TerryWilson3.com, the show committed to helping you grow, protect, and enjoy your money, business, and life.
Wanted to get with you. This is really something that seems to be scratching a lot of itches, and it looks like it's pretty lucrative.
Well, it's one of the best business decisions that I've made, becoming a rep.
My intent now is being in that call center is letting people know this is the real deal. You will make money, and you don't have to have a product to promote. Just get in that call center and take calls, read a script. You will make money.
I started my own personal business 10 days ago. On Friday, I have my first 2 sales come through, and I have more pending. You do the activity, you take the time, you talk to the people.
You will make money.
I am in love with it. I don't know any other way to put it.
I really appreciate all the value you give. It's a lot, right? I look up to you a lot. You're kind of a leader in an industry where there's lots of BS.
And by the way, I love your swag. This is the Terry Wilson. Really? I'm excited, Terry. I want to get started here.
That's right, Christopher B. Today is the day that you can take your money, your business, your life, everything you do and touch to the next level if you will do one thing and one thing only, and that is just believe that it's possible and do it. Just act on it. What are you waiting for? If not now, then when? If not you, then who? If not that which is in front of you, then what is it that you're doing? What are you waiting on? There's only one thing that you can't ever give back. If you lose money, if you lose resources, if you lose this or that, you can get all that back. But time is the one thing that you can never get back. And that's the one thing that, I told someone the other day, they said, why are you pricing this so much? I said, because it takes so much time. I said, but time is the most valuable thing that you will ever have. I mean, I fight for my time, okay? And to make a lot, to accomplish a lot, you've got to be able to get a lot done in just a little bit of time. And so when things take time, you have to recoup the time. So I was in the conversation, I said, I price things to actually discourage people from getting me to do particular activities, because if I have to do those particular activities, it just takes so much time. And I would, I'm looking, okay, what could I make in that amount of time if I wasn't having to do this? And so I have to calculate all that up and say, okay, then this is what it's going to be. I'm telling you folks, today is the day. If you've ever dreamed about anything significant, then quit making it a dream and make it a plan. I love that cliche or adage or whatever it is I saw on social media, and you hear these gurus talk about it. That says the only difference between a dream and a plan is a deadline. Okay. Are you dreaming of more? Are you dreaming about doing things? Are you dreaming about losing weight? Are you dreaming about making more money? Are you dreaming about having more in the coming year? Or are you making plans? Do you have the right to expect more? Think about it for a second. Do you have the right? Do you actually have the proper expectations? Or is it just pie in the sky? Well, I hope it works out. I hope it's this. I hope it's that. I'm telling you, put feet to what it is you're looking for. Put activity behind what it is you want. Put a plan in place. Put some energy, put some passion behind what you want in life. Because, man, life is short. I mean, me and my wife were just talking about it over the weekend. It seems like just yesterday we were bringing our firstborn child home from the hospital. And now we're seeing him off to college and, with a significant other and making plans for the rest of his life. And, I'm thinking, where did the time go? I mean, I just blinked and then boom, all of a sudden 5 children and 1 in college and 1 on the way and all of this going on. So I'm telling you guys, don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait to when my ship comes in. Don't wait for a better, whatever the excuse is, fill in the blank. Well, when we have this, or now is the time. Do something. Get involved. Get off the sidelines and get out there and dance. I love that country song. I hope you dance. I'm telling you. And so I thought our last few podcasts here in 2017, buttoning up, if you will, closing the year out, I thought, man, what a great time to just sort of go back and review TW3 in 2017. We have had an incredible year, growth year after year, seeing new people come on, taking their lives to new levels, getting involved with things that fit them. We don't try to, as Saul tried to do to David, hey, put on my armor and go out there and fight the battle. And we say, what is it that you can do? What is it that you like? And we try to match them up with a business, because now we have a business with inside TW3. And that's why we're so strenuous to really try to vet the people that are going to onboard with us as a sales rep and trainer, and as someone that's going to be a coach and consultant using our platform, because that's a very lucrative opportunity, and it's very scalable, and it's very flexible, and there's all kinds of great things to it. But it takes a certain mindset. It takes developing some skill set. It takes some patience sometimes. And so we try to find the right candidates for that. So if you are a TW3 member, it's because I or one of our agents and recruiters thought, you are the type of caliber person and the type of person that could really see benefit in doing this. Because the thing of the matter is, and we introduced this the first thing, if you go back and you can go to January the 12th in 2017, we launched a podcast saying Uber teams up with TW3 to create a job opportunity match made in heaven. And what we did there, and if you want to go back and listen to that podcast or see that particular post, you can. It's on January the 12th, 2017. If you will go to my website, terrywilson3.com, and in the top right hand corner, just search Uber. You can read about that. But what we did was we said, hey, this is a match made in heaven, because when you onboard with us at TW3, we show you how to use our tools to drive calls into your mobile personalized call center, which means your cell phone. Going through our call center, it routes right out to your phone. And so what a perfect job opportunity, because here you're driving, you're making money, guaranteed income that way. And then you're taking calls. And as you're helping clients, you're either referring them over to something that you're giving away and making money, or you're onboarding them and selling them something and you're making money. So it was like, man, you're able to scale your business at a very entry level, starting out way, because normally it takes a while to get all these systems in place and strategies in place for you to be able to do that. And we could take people from the ground level, starting out as an entrepreneur, saying, okay, Terry, I'm at a crossroads in my life. I either was laid off, or I'm unemployed, or the job I was with is shut down, and I'd like to make X amount, and I'm not wanting to get involved, as you call, thrills, pills, lotions, and potions. I want something legit. How can I do that? And so we showed people, and we posted that, and it was a match made in heaven, because you drive, and you drive for people, you get paid, and while you're out there driving, you can take calls in our call center and making sales, or referring people over to things and making money. And then as you get going, and we had several testimonies throughout the year that came on this particular podcast and some of our webinars, and hey, you helped me really on board, and now I'm not even driving, I'm working full time at home, and I don't have to go out, because that driving and all of that gets old. I get that. But man, it was a great way to get started. And so we really liked that. So I encourage you, go back on January the 12th and look at that post. It'll show you about that. And that was a great way to get going, get started, making money, and immediate money too. So that was what it was really good. And then we did another live webinar on January the 23rd, where I just improv'd right there in front of a camera, talked about how you can make money from home in your own home-based business. And I just sort of laid out our entire opportunity and what it looks like and how to get involved and all that. And so it was really cool. And it was the first time I actually got in front of a camera to do one of our webinars. So this past year, I was really wanting to focus more and more on video because I wanted to do more and more with YouTube. I've been doing podcasts since 2010, but all these conferences I went to said you've got to transition over and have video out there as well. And I've always told people, well, I've had a face for radio. I've never considered myself a quote unquote video talent. But I did it, much to my chagrin. I did it as far as, I was dreading it, invested in a lighting system, cameras, and this types of stuff. And, man, we did that webinar, and I, along with several of my, reps, are still using that video today to be able to share the opportunity that we have. And of course, you can go back on January 26th and look at that. A lot of great stuff. One of the most popular podcasts that I have that made this year was episode 224. And I talk about the 5 laws of income growth. And I sort of borrow I borrow the law branding, if you will, or wording from my mentor and a great resource that I've used over the years, and got to see him several times live and speak to him a couple times, John Maxwell. And he's got the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And I said, well, there's laws of income growth as well. And I'm going to borrow some phrasing from him just to talk to people about how if you don't have these 5 laws in place, you don't have the right to expect any more than what you're already making. And that episode there gets downloaded every month in the hundreds, if not bumping 1,000 downloads each and every month. And the first month it came out, which was on, I don't have the date here in front of me, but I think, I don't know what the date is, but it's episode 224. And it's in our top 5 episodes that people listened to this past year. And so it was really, really cool. And then on February 13th, I posted a blog about growing an online business through software and strategies, some different softwares that you will need and things that you'll need to grow your online business. That was really, really cool. Got a lot of feedback on that as well. And then on, I don't know the date, but it was episode 221. Episode 221 was my first podcast that I did using the green screen, using the videos, using the lighting. And so it was sort of like a quote unquote simulcast. And so for you elite members that are using our podcasting platform and using our system and our strategies, you can go back and see my first one and how it turned out. Some of it was good, some of it was not so good. But the reason I do this is not just for you, the listener, that are listening to this, but I also use it as an example and to illustrate to our members what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and how I can publish content either in video or also in a podcast and make money from it, giving things away, offering things that doesn't cost the listener or the person on the video anything, and they make money from it. So there's a dual purpose of all of these podcasts that we produce and all of these videos that we produce. Yeah, one, it's selling our business, of course, but it's also selling some concepts that even if you're not in our business, you need to try to implement into your business so that you can be more successful. But it does something very powerful for our members who are starting and launching their own blogs, their own podcasts, their own online business. And that is seeing a real life example on the front end of what it looks like, and then going into our membership and seeing the back end, how those monetary strategies are working and monetization strategies so that you can make money and give content away. Everyone wins. You give value, and people, make money and enjoy it. And then I think on, I forget the date, but episode 229, we did an episode on how to fix your credit and grow your business and stay focused, a very popular one, and took some live Q&As. And then one of my more popular ones as well, just on the business end. On March the 13th, we did an episode on how, and I play the actual call for you. So you don't think I'm trying to make something up, or, there's just another one of those online, puffery pieces, these gurus trying to puff themselves up. No, I show you exactly what I'm doing. But on March the 13th, you can go back, and it's 2 calls, 2 sales, and $1,400. And I show you exactly in 2 calls how I made $1,400. And I do that for the general public. And then I go into real in depth of how my members can do that as well. They see that in the back office. Then I talk about the 3 big lies that people believe and they're held back by. So I try my best every other episode. I'm trying to give value, and because something I learned a couple of years ago, and it didn't just become obvious to me. I just assumed if I gave people digital tools, marketing tools, things that they could use in their business in a practical sense to make money, they would grab it and take off. And then what I saw was they would take off, but not have the success or the sustained success that they had hoped for and I'd hoped for. And what I learned in that process is there's and I think it's Seth Godin that said it, or one of these guys I listen to, that there's an inner game and an outer game that you have to be aware of. Your inner game is that inner dialogue and that mindset that you have that informs you on how you're going to behave and respond to success, to failure, to frustration, to, criticism, all of those things. And if you don't have that inner game, that strong inner game going, then you can have the greatest tools, the greatest resources, the greatest product, the greatest service in the world, but you won't last, because it's that inner game that informs how long, how far, and how reliable that outer game will be successful, and those tools and how you use it. So I said all that to say the content of this podcast, a lot of times we try our best to focus some on the inner game, some on the outer game. And then around March, April, that's where we actually brought on a whole new product and service to TW3. Since 2009, we have been doing lead generation. In about 2015, we started doing lead generation and a little bit of personal development. And in this year, in 2017, we went full board. We're doing both. And we did that using the Myers Briggs platform. And we got credentialed with Myers Briggs. And that is so when we talk to our reps, we can say, hey, here's all the marketing tools and assets you need. But I strongly recommend going through this MBTI, Myers Briggs type instrument that will reveal to you, who you are. Most people, it's amazing. It's amazing how most people do not have a lot. I don't want to say they won't have any, but they don't have a lot of self-awareness. What are you good at? And why are you good at it? What are you bad at? And why are you bad at it? And it's amazing how a lot of times most people really don't appreciate the distinction they have from other people. And sometimes the distinction they do recognize, it's always in a negative context. Well, they're such and such, or they're this way, or man, I wished I was like that. In other ways, you're either putting someone else down or you're putting yourself down, and you're not understanding how to appreciate both types and understand the value of both types, and more importantly, how to communicate to all types. And so the Myers Briggs instrument really does a good job of that. And we've brought that on to help our reps and to equip them to help other people. And so personal coaching got into that. But episode 226, we went into the 3 big lies that a lot of people believe. And that led us up to March 6th, a live webinar I did there, talking about business and talking about how you could grow and really take your income to another level by using some of the techniques I show in that to create a passive income. And then we go on up. And so we're just moving right along, having a great year, a stellar year. And we really get into the four benefits of building your personal and professional life with purpose. And so we really start, you can see this past year really on in the first and second quarter, personal development. So if you've recognized a lot of professional development, here's the lead generation tool you need. Here's a business strategy you need. If you recognized all that on the back end of our, this year, and you say, but Terry, where's some of the more personal development? It was some around the first quarter, around that April, May, June area, because we were heavy into the Myers Briggs, teaching it, training others on it, showing them how to use it. And so if you want to go back, the 4 benefits of building your personal and professional life with purpose is a great podcast. And I actually went the next day and did a blog post talking about the imperative of purpose, both personally and professionally. Why, if you don't have purpose, that is the underlying girding up what you do in your business and why you do it and how you do it. If purpose is not the main key ingredient, why, it will always and forever and never last and always fail. It just will. I have been successful in so many different businesses. I really have, but some of those businesses didn't last. And I'll tell you why. I had no purpose. I mean, here's the purpose: make money. And that's great. But if that's all it's about, once you get the money, then it's like, okay, now what? You quit. You don't give up. You lose that zeal for what you're doing. That's why I tell everybody all the time, anytime I get to speak with them and they'll listen, get involved with a business. And I'm not saying quit your day job now. If you've got what you got and you gotta feed the family, you gotta keep food on the table. But I'm telling you, if you're not being professionally fulfilled, which will lead into how you're being personally fulfilled, if that's not happening, you've got to eventually, pivot toward start a side hustle that's really resonating with you. I was telling one of our kids the other day, I said, years ago, back when I had this 9-to-5 thing, if you'll recognize, your dad was still doing this at the church, volunteer, not getting paid, not doing anything, but just doing this. I was doing this over here, and I was talking about speaking engagements and things that I was doing to encourage people, motivate people. And I said, do you know why I did that? Because that's what kept me alive. That's what gave me a sense of purpose. And I didn't do it for the money. I didn't get paid for it. I was working a 9-to-5 thing to eat, to feed you guys. But what gave me purpose was speaking, teaching, encouraging others. And I said, do you know why your dad loves the business that he's in now? Because I get to speak. I get to teach people. I get to put something in their hands that they can use and grab a hold of. And it's not just some philosophical thing, but it's something they can practically do to improve their practical, tangible lives. And that's just beautiful. And I said, so once you find, what is that thing that just turns you on? What is that thing that you would do no matter if they paid you or not? What is it? And once you learn it and you go after it, the sky's the limit. You'll make more money than you ever thought was possible, and you'll have fun along the way, and you'll eventually start feeling like I did back in 2015, 2014. Don't feel this way now. But I actually started feeling guilty. I was like, something is just not right about this. I mean, I should not be paid for this and paid this way because, well, this is like playing and getting paid. I'm telling you, that's the power of purpose. So then we talked about that. And then we went into 10 ways to stay encouraged by staying in courage. So personal development. Where is the money in your business? Another very popular episode 234. Questions about branding. I was getting questions like, Terry, you're wearing t-shirts and this and that on your podcast. And so this was around the time people started noticing that my podcast was also done in video. And so some of the listeners that had been with us for years was turning on to see this old boy. And they were noticing I'm just wearing a hat and a t-shirt, half the time in my pajamas. Sometimes I comb my hair even. And they're like, oh, my word. And I was like, well, here's the way I feel about, because that old adage, the clothes makes the man, dress for success. In the digital world, in the digital age, it has nothing to do with what you're wearing. If you'll notice, for you guys watching the video, I'm just wearing another t-shirt. But my website, I spend time on. My website is the one that goes to the tailor all the time to get custom design and make sure it's up to date and it's looking. But see, your dress, your branding is about your online footprint. What does your social media look like? What does your website look like? Do you have one? Because if you don't, you're out there naked. You're not even dressed right now. So we talked about that. Then we went into an income hack. I showed in episode, I think it was, this was a webinar that I did on how to grow your income with some easy income hacks. That was a great webinar. A lot of people talked about that. That was on March 25th. You can check that out. Then I talked about in episode 232, how to work from home using Fiverr, a great resource. A lot of our members at TW3 will use Fiverr to sell services like voice broadcasting, like developing landing pages and opt-ins, selling leads and different things like that. And so I was just opening up to the public in episode 232. Here is a way. Here's a resource. Here's something that's not even really selling. It's just providing a service that you can do from home using some of the tools and the platforms that we have, and make money off of it, $5, $10, $15, $50 at a pop, and do that all day long and make money. And I actually recorded a video so that you can see that. And then in episode 231 here, again, personal development, how to bounce back from failure, rejection, and defeat. We talked about that, how to generate real estate leads with TerryWilson3.com and social media. And so that was another great resource. And so, a lot of times I'm asked by members, Terry, I just bought your system. I'm a realtor. How can I use this? Or I'm an insurance agent. How can I use this? And so I'm developing these. Now we've got specific training and more in-depth training, of course, in our back office, but I also put out some podcasts. So in episode 230, it was for the realtors. And so I was showing them how they can leverage our system and make really, really good money. And that took us up to, some more personal development. And that got us into May. And I was really heavy on personal development around this time, like I said, because of the Myers Briggs. And so that is what was happening in the first part of the year. A lot of personal development, a lot of things showing people how they can get that inner game going so that they can make a lot more money. And in episode 243, I went up to about the 10 excuses that won't allow people to achieve. Then I went to 4 simple steps to book and sell more Medicare. Then I went back to a practical. So as you can see, the episodes this past year and what the content I was putting out, I tried to stay practical, and then I tried to go philosophical, do a little practical and a little philosophical. If you will holistically go after your life that way, work on the inner game, work on the outer game, I'm telling you, you are going to find yourself, because I talk to a lot of people and they always major in one camp or the other. It's amazing. It's like, Terry, I don't want to hear the pie in the sky. I don't want to hear the fluff and stuff. Just give me instructions on how to use these tools to sell more, to book more appointments, to do whatever. So I give it to them, and then they're just constantly having moderate success because they lack some sort of inner game skill set. Or I'll talk to people that are in the opposite. Man, they love when I get into more personal development, inner game skill sets development, but they don't ever take it and translate it over to a practical activity that they have to do to make more money. So I want to encourage you, as we're closing up the show today, and in our next episode, episode 299, it will go into the last part of this year and how we started really honing in a more practical way how to make money. And we listened to some stories about people that were actually homeless, joined our business, and started making money. So we'll get into that in the next episode. So I encourage you to tune in the next few days when that gets published. But don't find yourself in either or type of mentality when it talks about, and when we're talking about developing your inner game and outer game. Do both, because it takes both. It requires both. It requires you to be committed to saying, I'm going to have the inner fortitude, the inner confidence that it takes to be successful. And then I'm going to take what's inside me, put it out. Hey, remember, if you want to go to the next level, you have to grow to the next level. And that's why I want to give you a free copy of my new book, You Are Worth More. Go to TerryWilson3.com/worthmore now.
Thank you for listening to our show today at TerryWilson3.com. If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at TerryWilson3.com or call 800-673-1728.
Man, it's a great system here. This is good stuff here. I wish I found this company 10 years ago.